Hallo miteinander, I'm Gishity6, and this was long overdue to appear on my channel. It is the one fan game that has even more Steam reviews than Hidden Star in Four Seasons, Touhou Luna Nights. It is an action platformer Metroidvania starring Sakuya Izayoi. That alone wouldn't be too extraordinary. Many action games feature the perfect and elegant maid, and in fan-made fighting games she's almost always part of the roster. Yet what Luna Nights does with its protagonist has made it the definitive Sakuya experience. Game journalists would say it really makes you feel like an obedient servant of a bratty vampiress. We are already seeing why this is so. Rather than tying her time-slowing and time-stopping powers to one or very few ace-up-your-sleeve super moves, Luna Nights turns Sakuya's talents into the most basic, fundamental functions. Just throwing your knives at your enemies is not enough here. The whole rhythm of the gameplay hinges on your time manipulation powers, which is why we are slowing and freezing our surroundings constantly. Slowdown, the so-called snail time, does not cost a resource and only comes with the downside of a short preparation period. Time stop, however, feeds on your time energy, which is shown by a number in the top middle. Level up. The emphasis of Metroidvania lies on the Vania part for this one. There's experience to gather and stats to improve. Apart from getting stronger through battles, there are also power-ups hidden within the Scarlet Devil Mansion, so you should explore thoroughly. The rate at which Sakuya grows more powerful is relatively small though. This is not the kind of game where it's worth to grind. It would make really little sense to tell anyone that you must be of level such and such before a certain boss fight. Ultimately, you have to play well. Numbers won't make you win by default. Saying that is especially true for the file we have chosen. Take a look pretty far to the top left of the screen. We have an HP and an MP bar there. The HP bar would be of a light blue color, but ours is practically empty. Huh, when did we take so much damage? We did not. We never took any, and you would know if we did, because this is 1 HP mode. Luna Nights lacks a typical hard mode, but once you beat the game and the boss rush, you can choose this most lethal setting. Doesn't matter if you're up against these sneaky skeletons or the rather wimpy spirits, everything could be your sudden demise. In that case, you'd go back to the last phone booth you activated. Sakuya always has to give Hieda no Akio a call to save. Those save points aren't objectively far away from each other, but when everything can go wrong at any moment, it can feel much too far. Just before this recording, we acquired the double jump. It's a very expected tool in Metroidvanias, and it's used to put you into a sequence. This room with the Mandragoras is actually a place you could have reached much earlier, yet this jump right here would have been impossible. This is only stage 2 of 6 right now. Luna Nights is actually a rather compact little game. It's definitely smaller than Super Metroid. In size, it's somewhat comparable to Double Focus. Some people would say that's really short, but I've grown quite fond of this type of length. Makes a Metroidvania not too overblown. They stay fresh until the very end. And that is certainly true for Luna Nights. Gimmicks like this purple aura here are introduced all the time. Objects that have it will move even when time is stopped, and that idea will be used for some really nifty, clever jumping puzzles. Some are just up ahead. I honestly think that no room in this game is unnecessary. New and exciting stuff keeps showing itself. There's, for example, also a green aura later on that makes something only move when time is stopped. That's when an overly eager use of your powers can backfire. We're waiting for the mentioned time energy to refill a little here. Moving, attacking, really doing anything during a time stop drains it, yet it grows back fairly quickly. In contrast, your MP bar regenerates much slower. MP are used for special skills like the auto-aim attack we just used. It's incredibly helpful against the blue teleporting spirits within this section. They're so annoying. If you simply throw knives outside of your time stop, they are very likely to just shift out of your line of fire. The auto-aim skill, though, is something they can never avoid. Some good thinking is required here. You want to freeze when the blades are horizontal, and then drive through with your unaffected platform. Just the whole corridor is very puzzling and dangerous with its countless floor spikes. The most challenging part of Stage 2 by far. We keep absorbing colorful symbols from our enemies. That is Luna Nights' graze system, and it's a little bit different from what graze is in the bullet hell games. If you get close enough to an enemy or projectile, you'll recover resources. Do it during a time stop, you'll snatch up precious MP and also some time energy. Do it outside of one, and you'll even heal yourself on top of that. Now what is this, a chainsaw? Who are we, Leatherface? Let's not insult our protagonist. Silkface, maybe. It's another special skill comparable to the axe of any Castlevania. It goes up in a high arc. What strikes me is that it was set up in a secret room right before a climb for which such a tool is ideal. Yeah, when it comes to level design, Team Ladybug really thought this game through. We're also going to encounter a very tenacious flying enemy soon, against whom the chainsaw is superb. There's a vending machine here. Every time Sakuya passes one, she will grab a juice can, drink it in an instant, and then just chuck it away. This may sound like the most mundane side quest ever, but we must make sure to land a can into this trash bin. Seriously, this is a collectible. You must feed the 15 legendary trash bins of the Scarlet Devil Mansion. Making that suave two-pointer can be harder than you would think. They programmed physics for the juice can and it just loves rebounding off the rim. At least we got it in after an eternity of failure. We're so environmentally friendly. Ignore those 10 other cans we missed with and never bother to pick up. In fact, someone else drank all those. Let's blame it on our upcoming boss. Surely Marissa is the type who litters. Man, the animation of her hair whipping around when she turns on her broom looks wonderful. Luna Nights has so many frames, everything moves super smoothly. Sakuya's walk cycle, for example, is really graceful because of that. It also blatantly mimics Alucard's, but that's okay, he is the benchmark of sprite animation. The story of this game, by the way, is that Sakuya is trapped in a fake Scarlet Devil Mansion as a sort of playful test by Remilia. Marissa is one of the intended obstacles. The ordinary magician has 2000 hit points, pretty formidable at this point of the game, and even more so since she is an aerial target and therefore not always in a good position to attack. Marissa's most basic moves are aimed magic missiles, air-to-ground globes that you have to navigate in between, and she'll often throw out red mist. We've seen that mist in the stage before. If you stand in it, your time energy will be sucked away. Snail time is incredibly important for this fight. It'll allow us to get past these circling beams. It'll also help us for the next attack, the classic Master Spark, permanently borrowed from Yuka. Anyone who first encounters this will probably be stumped. You must use snail time to even learn that the blast moves in a spiral. At regular speed, it is undodgeable. The Master Spark deals around 60 damage to you. Under normal circumstances, you'd have 100 or 110 HP at best, so that one's always a hard hitter. Since we know its secret and are on 1 HP mode, it's probably the least threatening attack in Marissa's repertoire. The less showy attacks are much more likely to score that lucky hit, the only hit Marissa needs. We are running low on MP. Just throwing knives costs MP, by the way. In a sense, there is such a thing as being out of ammo in this game. However, that'll only become a real problem if you miss often, overuse expensive skills, don't risk grazing enough, and finally underutilize your time stop in general. It'll also become less of an issue in the later game, when you've picked up more of the gems dropped by enemies. One type, the Aquamarine, raises MP regeneration so long as you hold onto them. You could also sell them to Nitori and buy consumables in return from her. I rarely ever do though, the prices are kind of a robbery. A conclusion is drawing near. 374 HP is not much. We better not lose our nerves now that we are so close. Normally, Luna Nights is not considered an especially challenging title. It's tricky enough if you're still unfamiliar, but what keeps the difficulty moderate is that bosses have a very rigid cycle of attacks. You'll quickly learn the pattern of their move sets. You're usually given a sizable breather between each step, so it's not like fights are too hectic or that it's too hard to find an opening for yourself to attack. And we have a flawless victory. Marissa is regretting her thieving ways at this moment, although I highly doubt she is ever going to truly change for the better. Now she is shaking, is she going to burst into bits? No, at the end she is alright, just a little bruised. With that, our video is pretty much over. I hope it got you a sizable impression of Touhou Luna Nights. It's easily the most high-profile fan game of recent, and I've got to say, it deserves any and all acclaim it gets. The developer, Team Ladybug, had a really good reputation already, all through quality games that didn't even have anything to do with Touhou. All the signs were there that this was a hit in the making, and it did not disappoint. Even their non-Touhou affiliated fans say that this ranks as their best work. With that, I'm Gesh86, this was Touhou Luna Nights, a definite must-play. Bis bald!